What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another edition of the Breakdown Sportscast. I'm your good friend and host, Kory Willis. I hope everyone out there is doing well on a Friday, getting ready for a great weekend out there. I hope you guys are wrapping up all of your caseloads and big projects over the week, the work week, and getting ready for a great weekend. Hang out with your friends and family out there. So weather's looking great as ever. We're getting into that spring weather out there. So overall, guys, I hope you all are doing well on a Friday. As always, guys, we appreciate you all listening to the show. You know where to find us. We're on many different streaming platforms out there, such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Amazon Music, and Amazon Audible, iHeartRadio, and many other streaming platforms out there. So if you like what you hear from Chris and I, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to the show. It's definitely important for us. It helps us know what we're doing on the show and how we can improve the show for the future for you all. So as always, we very much appreciate you guys' support with the show. Overall, we hope you all are doing well. You know who I'm with. I'm with my good friend and co-host. He is Chris Bolton. Chris, what's going on, my brother? I feel like it's been forever since we've talked.
Been a little minute, it is the off season, but we back at it. And we so are some of the guys that we've been covering, this past season. They are back at it too and got their
Chris signal dropped out just a little bit.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. But yeah, no, it's good to be back on the pod. It has been a little second, but we back at it, and so are some of the guys that we been covering this past season. They got to do their thing. We'll get into that at the combine, but hopefully we put up a Maxwell Harrison, Matthew Golden kind of performance, and not a Isaiah Bond, respectfully.
Touche, my friend. Touche. I mean, yeah, it's been a minute, of course, but we getting back on our game. There's a lot of news to still break down here on the Breakdown Sportscast. It is the off season, but we got combine news, Chris. We got a couple of things going on in the ACC in terms of settlements being made out there. I know, right? And a little thing going on down there in Gainesville, Florida, that we'll definitely delve into before we head out of here on today's show. But yeah, it's the off season, Chris. But overall, things are still boiling in the world of college football.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, Chris, I don't think we're gonna keep people waiting too long. Of course,
there's no need to. We can go ahead and get into it and get into this combine talk.
Yeah, absolutely. So everyone, if you guys were watching this past weekend, we had the NFL Combine that's always held in Indianapolis, in Lucas Oil Stadium. It was a great event. We saw a lot of talent being showcased there at the Combine this year, and we saw some winners, and we saw some guys that we think can do a lot better. But overall, this was a great event for potential teams to see potential talent, Chris, that could definitely be utilized for next season in the NFL, don't you think?
Yeah. We got some guys. They showed themselves to be some great options in this upcoming draft and really raised their stock.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they did, man. And I know that there were some players, of course. Shadir Sanders was there. I think even Travis Hunter and a couple others were present for the combine as well, but they didn't participate. So likely you'll see them perform in their pro days. So, and that will be very important to see how those individuals perform, because the scouts out there, they want to see them perform and showcase their skills to these NFL teams out here. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens indeed with some of these players. But overall, Chris, I guess I'll leave the floor to you just to kick things off. What was your thoughts about the NFL Combine overall? What did you like? What did you not like? Who do you think could perform a little bit better, and who do you think performed pretty well in this year's Combine?
Myself, there was some guys I was very impressed with. Maxwell Harrison, cornerback out of Kentucky. I think he's put himself in that discussion as probably one of you can put him up there right after depending on how you see Travis playing. If you see him playing DB in the league, I think Maxwell's a guy that can potentially break out and be one of the best picks for a team in this draft when it comes to if you're looking for a corner, because he's got the speed. Ran a 4.28 40. It has really good size and the long good range. Long arms. So someone that you got the speed and size that he has. He's a problem out there on the field, and so that his 4.28 40 really stamped him in my eyes as one of the better defensive back picks in this draft. Very impressed with Trey Amos out of Ole Miss. He's somebody, just being real, I know we were Bulldogs, but when you watch what Ole Miss does on defense, he looked good in the combine as well. And so I was impressed with him. And then you look at the wide receivers, Matthew Golden running a 4.29, Kory.
Hey, I'm looking at it now. I'm still amazed.
Running a 4.29, it was Isaiah Bond hyping up how he was going to be running super fast, but it was Matthew Golden, who's an extremely crisp route runner. And you're telling me he has top end speed like that?
I know. Hey, it was both Jade Barron and Isaiah Bond going there saying that they were going to turn some heads with their 40 times. I know you remember seeing that like a week ago, Chris. And
yeah,
look who came out on top. Matthew Golden.
I know, Matthew Golden,
undisputed champion right now.
Man, what a player, what a wide receiver prospect. I mean, everybody's big on Ted, rightfully so. Ted McMillan. And you also have your Luther Burdens that we've been high on. But if you slide out, you put that film on, and then you're getting 10-yard split, 10-yard cone drills, and 40-yard dash times like this from a Matthew Golden. It's going to be tough if you need a wide receiver to overlook this guy.
No, I agree with you. So I mean, he was a heck of a player this past season for Texas, and showcasing his skills in this year's combine was very important for a guy like Golden. So him getting that 4.29 definitely impressed a lot of scouts. I'm sure that's all they needed to see from
that's all I needed to see. Right? I've been a believer, but man, this guy he's climbing up my board. I mean, it's like I said, if you're drafting a wide receiver, it's going to be hard to be like, do we not should we not get this guy? Are we sure that Ted is the number one wide receiver in this draft? Are we sure? You know what I mean? And Ted's a dog, but hey, I had to put some more stock before he goes to whatever team he goes. I'm in.
Look, I don't blame you. I do not blame you, man, at all. So, yeah, it was a great showing for a lot of these players. We'll definitely see as I'm kind of delving into mock drafts right now because the combine's big, Chris. I mean, this definitely gives football nerds like us a chance to see where these guys stack with the rest of their peers. And the draft is coming up. We want to see where a lot of fans and even scouts and GMs are potentially looking at building their teams. This is an important part of it. So yeah. It's definitely gonna be interesting to see where some of these guys like Matthew Gold and me and you had talked about earlier. I wanted to mention right off the bat. I guess I'll mention a guy like Irv Mulligan from Jackson State, running back. This guy was a great player last season for the Tigers. I mean, this guy racked up well over 1,000 yards, 13 touchdowns for Jackson State Tigers this past season. I want to see what a guy like that, when it comes down to his pro day, I'm sure he's going to have one. I want to see what he stacks up with the rest of his running back peers. So, and the quarterbacks and even some of these great defensive players as well. I mean, you just mentioned in the cornerbacks position. I mean, you got some great players in their own rights in defensive back position. So, it's definitely it was definitely a great showing of a lot of these players, and we're not done yet. So it's the gift that keeps on giving.
No, we aren't done yet. We'll have more pro days, and then it'll be time to make it happen. So we'll keep our eyes peeled on how these pro days go, and then soon we'll have some spring games coming up too, Kory, on the other end of the spectrum with the guys who's still on campus. Exactly. So we'll see how those go. I guess we can go ahead and make a slight transition. We'll see if one guy is available for one of these spring games.
We'll go ahead and talk about it because we were definitely discussing it before the show started, Chris. So you're down in Florida, of course. You yourself have heard the rumblings about this news story. DJ Lagway, who had a previous shoulder injury before last season, this season that just passed, apparently word going out down there in Gainesville is that he's been limited in practice because the guys are knee deep in spring practice now. A lot of these teams, he's been limited in practice because of this nagging shoulder injury. What's going on with DJ Lagway, Chris? Because we're all looking at this guy being a major contributor for Florida next season. If they're trying to potentially try to get in the playoffs some kind of way. They've been having trouble in beating Georgia. I think DJ Lagway, with a year under his belt, coming in as a true sophomore, Chris, if everything goes to plan, he could be a valuable asset for the Gators. What's going on down there? What have you kind of heard? Because this was all kind of like new to me. I heard this like as we're recording this on a Thursday evening. This news just caught me by surprise.
Yeah. So the thing is, like you mentioned, he did have an injury heading into week one before, last season with the shoulder. um, They finished this season with a hamstring. The hammy went out in the Georgia game, and been dealing with that. With the media availability that the people on the Florida Gators beat had in spring practice today, he didn't throw any passes. Nobody saw in the media him throw any passes. So just going through the motions. I'd imagine maybe they aren't at liberty to tell us, or they not, or just aren't telling us that he's maybe has some kind of procedure, maybe something to clean up the shoulder. You never know. I'm not saying that he has, but they aren't coming out saying that he hasn't either. They're not being real open about why he isn't throwing the football, but it's evident. And, there's something going on with that. So we'll just keep our eyes peeled, see if he plays in the spring game, and see how things continue to progress this offseason, because that will be the story of the offseason for if you're a Florida fan.
Yeah.
Because there is no season without DJ Lagway, Kory.
No, you're absolutely right, Chris. I mean, this guy, when all else had failed last season, DJ Lagway was one of the, one true unsung heroes of that football team. He was the guy that gave a lot of Gators hope. If you ask anyone down there in Gainesville, or anyone that was a Florida fan in general, he was that guy. He is him, as they say. If they don't have him by the time the season is ready to start, if he isn't at 100%, Chris, by the time kickoff of the 2025 season begins, that wouldn't bode well if you're a Florida fan. They need him badly. Billy Napier needs him badly. After the season,
Billy,
he almost
that's probably why he ain't throwing the football. Billy probably massaging his shoulder himself, trying to make sure he's good to go.
Hey, can you imagine, like, you walk into the Florida facilities, Chris, and you're just like, man, this looks nice. Of course, you see the championships, and then you ask yourself, like, hey, where Coach Napier's office? And like, Billy Napier, he doesn't even occupy in that office anymore. It's like DJ Lagway's office. He has a whole massage bed and everything. He got his pictures up.
Billy, you gonna mess around and look on the website. It's gonna say head coach / assistant trainer, because he gonna be in there massaging DJ Lagway's shoulder himself, making sure he good to go this off season.
You imagine, like, hey, DJ, you need anything? I go to CBS right
You need some ice. You need some ice. Yeah. But seriously though, that's what's going on. It seems like they're taking all the precautions. There's no need for him to have his shoulder in that kind of honestly unnatural motion that we do with throwing the football. So just let him heal. Let him continue to get healthy and rehab.
Yeah, that's all you can do for a guy at that position with his skill set, and pretty much in the time that you're in as the head coach of the Florida Gators. You're Billy Napier. You're doing everything you can do to protect this guy. Protect him from himself if you got to. So this is it's interesting to hear this information. But if I was in Billy Napier's shoes, I would probably be doing the exact same thing right now. I want to protect my investment, and my investment is making sure DJ Lagway is in tip-top shape, not
Mm-hmm.
only for the spring but for the summer, and before you know it, you're hitting the ground running in fall practices, getting ready for your first game of the season. So,
Yep. Exactly.
so yeah, I will not come after Billy Napier at all with any of this. It's interesting just because it is an injury that he had to endure last
Mm-hmm.
season, but I think this is the best way forward if he's trying to get healthy. You want to make sure that you can protect a great talent like DJ Lagway. That way he can be ready to showcase his skills for next season.
Exactly.
So, yeah, man.
Most definitely. I'm with you.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It's going to be interesting, Chris. I know me and you will definitely look into this more. Of course, if there's any updates on this news story, we'll definitely let you
Oh, I'll
guys know.
let you know.
Look, you're gonna have boots on the ground one way or another.
Hey, my ears are peeled.
It's like I want to make sure what's going on is being out here for the people to know, because we want to know. We want to see the DJ Lagway this coming season. So.
Hey, who you telling? So yeah, no, I will keep my ears peeled, and then yeah, we'll if there's any updates, you'll hear it real fast and in a hurry on the breakdown sportscast.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So yeah, man, we'll definitely see what happens with that situation in the near future. So. But yeah, Chris, yeah, the combine was great. We'll see what happens with DJ Lagway. One other thing that we can talk about. This will be a pretty short show, folks. We just want to kind of, get back and talk with you guys again because it has been a minute. So that we just got word a couple days ago from the ACC, Chris. You know that conference.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They have reached a settlement with Florida State and Clemson for better revenue distribution. And I'm just looking at an article from ESPN. Shout out to Andrea Adelson for this article written. She states
Mm-hmm.
that the ACC, Florida State, and Clemson have ended their ongoing litigation on Tuesday after agreeing to a settlement that changes the league's revenue distribution model and significantly reduces the exit penalties for those members wanting to leave the conference before 2036. So I know that's a that's a faraway date. Oh man, we look at this point, Chris. We don't know what college football look like in 2036. Just saying.
Yeah, you're right.
But yeah, I think this was an interesting thing to kind of note before we head out on today's show, Chris, because we saw this whole dealing happen during the season where Florida State and Clemson, they would have a little beef with the ACC in terms
Mm-hmm.
of penalties being enforced on them, and with them looking towards leaving the conference. That was a thing. I mean, we started
Mm-hmm.
hearing rumblings about like, hey, they want to get fillers out on going to the SEC. All kinds of crazy stuff. Um, in a world where we just got Oklahoma and Texas into the league. So, overall, Chris, this thing has now settled. They look to be more in a better understanding with the ACC going forward. But I guess this wouldn't still bar them from potentially leaving one day, because clearly it does mention them saying that this settlement now helps with the penalties being enforced on them, being lessened
Mm-hmm.
now. So there, anything could still happen, of course, but this definitely lessens the blow for the ACC, a conference that's trying to stay as relevant as they possibly can. Chris, they saw what happened to the Pac-12 this past season. They don't. They
Yeah,
don't want that to happen.
it might happen whether they want to or not.
Unfortunately.
But unfortunately, I mean, the settlement, you know, it's a win-win for honestly everybody involved.
Yeah.
For the short term, it gives you a little less feeling of, oh boy, we're doomed if you're the ACC, because you work at a little compromise with Florida State, but then also Florida State's in a position to where they won't be as penalized
Yeah. Still keep your
to
ears to the
part
ground,
ways.
Chris. We may not leave right now. You know what I'm
Right now. Yeah, yeah. So, you know, it's quite interesting. I think it's inevitable, Kory. I think we will eventually see the demise of the ACC. It just might be a little drawn out, but when you got situations like this happening with your big time brands of your faces of the conference and having to realign money and figure out, make a less of a penalty if you do leave before a certain date. It's not looking good. Not looking good for the ACC as a whole long term. But in the short term, you're at least not what is the current Pac-12.
Yeah, yeah. Look, you could be worse. You could definitely be worse. You could be the Pac-12. Yeah, just
Mm-hmm.
groveling to the ground, just asking Boise State to be a part of your conference. Just asking Colorado State, like, look, man, can, can, look, we'll throw you a bone, all right? Just
Mm-hmm.
be a
Mm-hmm.
part of our conference. No, man, no,
Oh,
you're absolutely right, Chris. It definitely could be worse. And I think overall the head honchos of the ACC knew that ahead of time. They knew at some point they needed to make a deal with both Clemson and Florida State. These are two of your most storied programs in the conference. They are the pillars of the conference.
mm-hmm.
Probably
Mm-hmm.
the third team is Miami, of course. You lose 2 out of 3 of those pillars, man, we're talking about a conference that would be devastating. So, I will give them a shout out by getting ahead of this when they needed to. That way, they wouldn't have to, worry about this sooner rather than later. They still have to worry about it because anything could happen, just like you said, Chris. This is
Mm-hmm.
kind of like the people like to say, it's kicking the can down down the road for a future problem to
Yeah.
occur again. So
No, you're right. You're right.
that's my take on
It,
it.
it, it, it's holding it down. It's a little band-aid. You know what I'm saying? Putting
Yeah,
a little band-aid on things. Make sure we all right for right now. Is it will it work out long term?
I think Chris dropped out again. Oh, I think I can hear
Can you hear me now?
you. Yeah, yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. But it's like what my boy said on the Water Boy. Yeah. You live, fight, another day.
Absolutely. You live to fight another day, and I think I think the guys in the ACC offices knew that they had to live to fight another day on this. Why keep putting your foot down on things that could hurt you more in the long run rather than help you. You got great teams right now. Heck, Clemson went to the playoffs, went to the first ever 12-team playoff, representing your conference along with SMU. You don't want to ruin this. You don't want to ruin a good thing. You better hold on to these guys as much as you can, because if not, like you said, Chris, you could be looking like the Pac-12 right
now. That ain't how you want to look. That is not what you want. So
hanging on a string. I ain't talking about loose ends hanging on a string. It's a great song.
Ooh, boy. Yeah. No. We don't want that. So
exactly.
Man, oh man. But we'll see how this continues to play out. I'm sure will depending on how the playoffs shake out this upcoming season, Kory, it can have some ramifications on how soon, if sooner or later, these teams do part ways with the ACC, with the whole you get four for the Big Ten and the SEC when it comes to the playoff.
Yeah, man. I look. When I think back at it, Chris, and I know you feel that way too. I just remember when Rich Eisen was talking about it. When you remember the SEC and the Big Ten formed this alliance, of course, just to have these meetings, just to talk.
Yeah, just to talk.
We do this. Just to talk. Just to talk, we knew this. It's like, nah, y'all ain't in here just to trade burritos and
Nah, y'all ain't out here just conversing and having some drinks and eating appetizers together. There's some real business going on.
Exactly. You bring the hors d'oeuvres in, but you also bring some real business in. So some real big business, should we say? So yeah, man, it's all a part of this new age of college football and just college athletics in general, Chris. I know you've talked about this till you've been blue in the face. Me as well. This is where we're at now. I mean, a lot of these schools are, they're jockeying for a position for better deals. And overall, they're not looking to back down over anyone. College football in particular has gotten too big.
College football is all about the money now, for better or worse. I think we'll see. I mean, things aren't completely ruined yet, Kory, but I think we might be the best days of college football are behind us. I hate to sound like that old head, but dang, man, I miss the BCS. I never thought I'd say that in my life.
Oh, man. Look, man, I think back fondly with the BCS. And, man, I think, like, our first year of college was like the last year of the BCS. And just thinking back at it, I'm just like, man, I kind of miss it too. Look, at least you knew.
Boy.
When people lose with that system, oh, you gonna feel it on Sunday. Oh my gosh. Like, you thought the Associated Press runs around like chickens with their head cut off on Sunday trying to make their top 25 of the week polls. Just wait till when you see these guys what they do with their polls during this BCS era.
The computers had people in a tizzy.
Yeah.
Auburn was out here going undefeated. Still couldn't make it to the Natty.
Yeah. That was the world we lived in.
That was the worst of it with the BCS. I take that back. With how things are looking now, BCS didn't have too many misses. It had just a couple misses.
Just a couple. That would make for some good content, Chris. Maybe we should go back on a future episode during the off season just to look at the BCS in general.
We can do that in the next episode. We'll go back and just look at how things played out with the BCS, the
Well,
timeline of the BCS era,
yeah,
the
yeah,
pros, the ups and downs, the highs and lows.
yeah. I think that's some good homework for us to do over the weekend and everything. We'll definitely come back on a future episode, either next week or in 2 weeks, of course, for
Mm-hmm.
everyone, and we'll definitely go back in time.
Yeah, we'll go in the time machine.
Yeah, to an interesting um, time in college football, for sure. The BCS system.
Yeah, man, what a time! But I might have to get on that tonight.
Yeah, me included. Just wild games, wild outcomes, just a wild time, of course. And the dialogue was crazy then. Now it's all over the place now because everyone has their thoughts. What's college football?
Who you telling? Who are you telling, man?
Yes, sir. Oh my gosh. But yeah, Chris. I appreciate you, good sir. Chopping it up with me again. Like we
Yes,
said,
sir.
folks, it was a great combine. I was very much interested in your take on what you enjoyed about this combine and what you're looking forward to with a lot of these great players and everything going on with DJ Lagway. Like I said, we'll definitely keep our eyes out on any news with that. But we hope nothing but the best for DJ Lagway moving forward into this season because I want to see more DJ Lagway. I gotta see more DJ Lagway for sure. So, and I know you being out there in Florida, Chris, I know you're probably gonna try to make your way to see some more games of the Florida Gators and DJ Lagway in the future. So yeah, man, it was a great episode, of course. Outros, Chris. Before I let you go, let the good people know where they can find you on social media.
Yeah, you can find me on X at Chris_Bolton_12. Holla at your boy. And on IG. It's been a wonderful time, even though it's the off season with NFL and college football. NBA's rolling, college basketball's rolling, boxing is lit. Just had the tank fight. And before that, a whole bunch of other fights all on one card. And wrestling's lit. And John Cena done turned the heel. I mean, it's all my childhood dreams coming true.
But look, before Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out, just remember that John Cena turned heel before Grand Theft Auto 6
That's
came out.
crazy, actually.
That is crazy. But that's the world we're living in right now,
Mm-hmm. So no, it's a wonderful time, man. So it's finna go down at Mania.
It is. It is. I've been meaning to get with you on that one. We'll definitely talk for a second about that off air. But yeah, man. Yeah, WrestleMania was good. Tank fight was very good as well. So yeah, man, a lot of great things are going on in the world of sports. We've had football's over now. Jalen Hurts. Or I like to call him Shamar Moore. The Shamar Moore.
He does like Shamar Moore.
The new Shamar Moore of our time. We still want to give a shout out to the Shamar Moore. But Jalen Hurts, Super Bowl champion. Got to give a shout out to him. They took down Patrick Mahomes a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, man, great time to be a sports fan. Indeed. So yeah, man, appreciate it, Chris. Folks, if you want to find me on social media, you can find me on X at Listen to KSW, all one handle. I'm also on there talking college football, any other sports that are going on. March Madness is about to get getting well in the swing soon. So we got college baseball happening. Wrestling is kicking it up a notch as well. So yeah, definitely follow me on there. Yeah, but folks, we appreciate you guys listening to the show. As always, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to the show. It's definitely important for us. It helps us know what we're doing and how we can improve the show for the future for you all. But until next time, I'm Kory Willis. He's Chris Bolton. You are listening to the Breakdown Sportscast. We will chat with y'all later on.